on the minds of most of the teams that we work with or people that we're talking to is first about how am I ready for AI? So technical SEO and accessibility make up the foundation of what makes it so that human users, screen readers, but also AI crawlers, AI retrievers, and traditional search engines. So we have to make sure our site is clear and can be read for all of those things. How do I track it? What should I be tracking? Am I influencing the text, the synthesized text? Am I citing? Am I being cited? Are the right passages that I want to be cited, right? And then is that turning into meaningful return on investment for me? So can I track it all the way down the way that I would expect to track with any web analytics solution? I think the good news is if you are thinking about editorial excellence and you're building content strategy with what would have been best practice, the key is that just AI exposes that you might not have had a great website or the entire site might not be well structured. You can no longer have parts of the site that are not great because they're negatively pulling down the rest. Or they might be the page that gets surfaced and then AI might read that and say, oh, this isn't providing any unique differentiated value, but I'm gonna move on to someone else, right?
Hi, I'm Jairus Mitchell. I manage the content findability, which also includes SEO, GEO, AEO, whatever acronym you want to use for Red Hat, an enterprise software company. This is my personal opinion, and I do not represent my company. And part of why we went with content findability is like there's this weird land grab around what to call it, and it's mostly an excuse to make people feel scared, like everything's changing so fast. But what we've found through a lot of research and understanding is it really depends on what your model of search engine optimization is. I think of it as writing good content, having structured retrievable on a fast, stable website, and then building authority metrics, which include citations and stuff. So all of that kind of maps into the new GEO world, AEO, whatever we want to call it. I kind of have a belief that as long as you're operating from like core understandings of making things suck less for humans, you're moving in the right direction. That being said, there's always a lot of work to do for all of those technologies. I mean, people are going to ask computers questions. The form they take, the shape they take is going to change, but we're in the business of answering questions for humans.
Right.
And using computers to help them find it. No, I mean, I think a lot of people in the field are having like a crisis of faith right now. Like, I think of it as that. You think of an SEO, they're used to making number go up and to the right. And then algorithmically and systematically, we're watching it go like flat at best. Like if you're creating growth, it's either because your output is super high or like you're keeping your content fresh. So, part of what we're working on is like kind of a back to basics approach. How do we have web content that answers those questions, keep it up to date, keep it structured, consistent so that we can do on-site personalization, conversion rate optimization, those sorts of things. Because like if traffic number going down and we're staying at the same conversion rates, that's a problem. But if we can make that conversion rate go up, I think more people are getting on the bus of like, hey, maybe we need to improve whatever you call it, your customer experience, your digital experience, your user journey. All of those acronyms or all of those things are just like how we make it suck less.
So I think some of it is around what we can actually detect as an agent coming in, right? Or somebody coming in from an LLM. But then we do have LLM optimizer as well. So that's within like the brand visibility category. So that is actually doing some of what you're describing, which is looking at, right, where you are today and then making recommendations in terms of how you can optimize your presence. The exciting thing that we're announcing here as well is essentially LLM Insights, where we're bringing in, right, some of the brand visibility data from LLM Optimizer. So we're pairing it into the view that analysts have within CX Analytics, right? So as they're looking at, customer behavior, business outcomes, they can also now start to see how is their brand visibility trending over time, and how does that correlate or not correlate, right, to those outcomes. So I think it's like, hey, maybe our brand visibility is going up, but like you said, are they actually clicking through into our brand? We have a lot of customers who are now have integrated, chatbot or conversational experiences on their own channels. So we have the ability to take in, right, that conversational data, right, essentially process that unstructured data, and now again integrate it into like our customers' views of the broader journey. Yeah. So you can see, for example, that maybe somebody came from ChatGPT and then they interacted, right, in a conversation, right, and then what was their behavior after that? So because like also those conversations cost money, right? Yeah. And so like you want to figure out like, are they actually improving business outcomes, right? And then we provide analytics as well, like, how many prompts were there, right? What was the sentiment of the conversation? And again, like what, how did that lead to better outcomes or not?
Why you need to be in AI? Because traffic is moving from search to AI. And what you have to do is back to foundation. Get your technical foundation right, have right content, and optimize for intent, not for channel. I think AIO traffic is more engaging than search traffic because it's intent driven. So and people have longer queries. They stay on such AI results more, and when they convert, they convert. So really, conversion on AIO or search results or AI search results is much higher than your traditional searches. Yeah. A lot of people make a mistake of getting their content right, but think about it. Between the content and AI search is your platform, and you have to get your platform rock solid and adapt to AI. That means have your entity layer, make sure it has a nice full indexing, high speed, and so it consumes less token.